Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining in today to the starting of book study circle, The Heroic Heart. And as we all know and are aware, maybe I'll put on the poster here. So we have been connected with the teachings of Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo. All of us who are connected with Living Light, they know, I think, about her. Her teachings are very inspirational, very simple and easy to use in day-to-day life, easy to practice. Not easy to practice, I would say, takes a long time, but yeah, I think easily understandable. So, and since we were also in touch with her self, she's in India, in Himachal, she has a nunnery. So we thought that we'll just take this up as a study circle, and we directly sought blessings from uh, Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo herself, and she said, yes, please go ahead with the study circle. And those of us who may be wondering, we also took permission, because many a times there needs to be taken a permission when we are holding study circles of these books, because these things can't be reproduced electronically as this written in the copyright thing. So that also we thankfully cleared, and there is hopefully no legal issue can happen now. So so this book is a commentary of 37 verses of the practice of a Bodhisattva, and there are 37 verses. We'll go one by one through them, and this book is a modern commentary on those 37 verses. Modern means that in the context of our present day-to-day understanding, because things which have happened in the past, the way in which people used to live earlier, they were different ways, and people had different needs and spiritual needs that time. But nowadays, the way we live, according to that kind of a living and understanding, she gives us a commentary, and I think it's very, very helpful. So we'll before starting today and before sharing the surprise, I would request maybe if all of us can shortly take a few um, minutes to share why are we here, to share our motivation for being here. Although some of you have personally shared with me, but since we are going to have this long journey together, it would be nice to just see everyone and maybe hear you talking that what is your motivation to join these sessions. So anyone wants to begin, please unmute and share. No, Jasmine, there is much more to come also, not only the introduction. Yes, please.
No, basically, this is the first session. I think that's what she's asking, that is this the first session of the series? So
Yes,
this is the first session.
this is the first session, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get the question. Yes, Subhashi, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
my
go
purpose
ahead.
is I was my colleague Shilpa, with whom I work on a project for Sherbindo Society, suggested that I take an opportunity to listen to you, because I too believe in understanding from different philosophies, Buddhism and various other thinkers, right from Krishnamurti to Sherbindo and Mother. Though my mainstream is Sherbindo and Mother, and wanted to hear you out to see whether what you're saying would help me in the current medical condition that I'm going through.
Thank you, Subhashi, and good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining in. Yeah, anyone who wants to share next? Nandini, you wanted to go next?
Yeah. Hi. Good evening. So, yeah. Hi, Nandini here. And as I said, I think the title of the book was quite what really has brought me here. Yeah. And Monica, having been a part of your sessions for quite some time, I think this is another journey that I'd like to go through. So, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining in, Nandini. Good to have you. Yeah, Jayashri, you want to go next?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I usually have a lot of questions in mind, as I told Monica that day. Even after reading few books, I don't get answers. But after joining these sessions, it's like there are few areas where I'm able to get clarity. So that is really helping me. So just want to learn more on this path. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Jayashri.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good to have you with us. Yeah, anyone who wants to go next? So, Lakshna ji, yes, please.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I really just wanted to actually know what or who is a heroic heart. You know, there are so many times one feels that you're walking this path and maybe, you know, your questions are being answered, everything seems all right. And then how you fall. But how do you stay heroic, or rather stay with the heroic heart at all times? And I think that's what, you know, she would probably tell in her book.
Yeah.
So this is the start of another lovely journey with you, I'm sure.
Thank
And
you.
for me, it's really difficult because like I told you, I normally do not access social media after 9. But
For this, you are making an exception.
Yes, I'm so keen. Thank you so much.
Good to have you with us. Thank you. Yeah.
Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, anyone who wants to go next? Ritu, you wanted to go?
Yeah. So hi everyone. It's nice to be a part of this group. And I've read Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo's earlier book, A Cave in the Snow, and I think it was one of the most beautiful books I've read, and so simply written, and it seems to be full of love. And so many times, you know, we hear or we read some mystics and saints like Sri Aurobindo or the Mother or so many more of them, but none of them, I mean, are there in front of us alive. But with her, she feels more relatable because she's still there. And if one wants, one can even probably, you know, go to her nunnery and spend time there. And whatever she says is it's very simple. I mean, it sounds very simple. And whatever, even when you look at her, her eyes are so much full of love, and it feels like she has that blessing for you when you look at her, even her videos and all. So it's nice that we are going to be sharing this and discussing this book together.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing, Ritu, and good to have you here with us. Yes, Shweta?
Hi, I'm Shweta, and everything that I would have wanted to say has already been shared. So, yeah, similar reasons. Even I have read the book, and I've also attended this sessions on ways of Bodhisattva. So, there's so much more to know, and I'm so keen and looking forward to, go on this journey with all of you. And listening to you, Monica, it touches a deep chord, somewhere within, and everything resonates. So, yeah, I wouldn't have missed this. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, good to have you here. Yeah, anyone else who has not shared and would like to? Yes, Rinku?
Hi, absolutely lovely to be here. And the reason for joining the course, other than the fact that when one was introduced to her teachings via an earlier course that you took, one found her teachings very incisive and relatable. The other reason and the immediate reason, that led me to reply to your message to say, yes, I want to be a part of the course is the first page that you shared, which talked about, being battered by lives. You almost feel like you are sitting on the wave and then it takes you through its crests and troughs and you seem to be moving without having any control or stability yourself. Oftentimes you feel like that. I think those sentences caught me, and that led to my immediate response.
Yeah, great. Yeah, good to have you, Rinku. Thank you for joining. So, Shreya, Shilpi, Snehi, Jasmine, if you could also maybe shortly. Yes, Shreya.
I can share. Hi, everyone. So, just building on what has already been shared so far, I feel that my days personally are full of a lot of chaos, mental chaos, if not chaos really outside in the reality. And there's just, yeah, a lot of judgment, critical thoughts, and feelings of not being good enough, not worthy enough. And then in all of this, I feel lost and weak. And I think so. When I saw the title, it really called out to me. And it also provides an opportunity to just, come back to the center if I can be, and that's the intention, if I can be regular. Um, it, it's a good opportunity to just bring oneself and remind oneself that we are enough. So happy to be here. Thank you, Monica.
Good to have you. Thank you. Yeah. Any last few people who have not yet shared?
Hi, Monica. This is Shilpi. I'll go ahead. Um, so when I saw the poster, I was reminded that I've been always curious about the Bodhisattva vows and how does one be in that space where the personal is given less importance than the universal. So just that curiosity brought me here, and I look forward to exploring it through Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo's writings. Thank you.
Thank you, Shilpi. Good to have you. So, Jasmine and Snehi, I am prompting. Yeah, if you can't speak, you can write also. Snehi, you want to go next?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah,
Snehi.
am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. I'm happy and grateful to be here today. And what I look forward to the most is growing with a like-hearted community. A community that is uplifting, positive, and well-meaning. And I could relate to what Shreya ma'am shared about feeling weak, because I think I also tend to feel weak from time to time, and I don't really know why. So I look forward to going through these teachings and words so that I feel strengthened from within. Yeah, I'm
Beautiful.
looking forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Snehi, and good to have you here with us. Yeah, Jasmine.
Yeah, hi, Monica. So yeah, I came in because I've been out of touch for so long with this group. So I think this was a good opportunity to connect back. And then I bought this book as soon as it came out because I was looking to explore and cultivate more compassion beginning of this year. So I read a couple of other books. And when this book came out, I was very excited to read it, but I didn't get a chance. So I thought this is a good opportunity, right? This is the best way to read it with everyone else. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Good to have you here. So those of us who have the hard copies, it's good to have the hard copies with us. But those of us who don't, and maybe they don't want to buy, that's okay, because we will be scanning. I'll be putting up the scans in front so that we can read all together. So that we don't have to buy. Those of us who want to buy, they can go ahead. So anything, Taru, you want to add on anything?
Yeah, I would like to say that, how, I don't know, through Buddhism, like through the teachings of Buddhism, a lot of which we have already taken, the last session, the definitions are so revolutionary, right? Like what I would consider as like the best possible thing, they would tell me it is the opposite, right? Like the supreme companion is mindfulness. The supreme generosity is say non-attachment, right? Like it just challenges the thoughts that the beliefs that I have, which I believe to be true, because that's what I have picked up and learned. And yet, when you hear it, you wonder how come you didn't know that before? Or maybe you knew that, and yet you would not even admit to it. So, just the title, like Heroic Heart, right? Like, say, what is my definition of a hero, right? Very limited, very thing again, what I have picked up. But I'm very excited to learn or know more about what a hero is, a heroic heart. Like the title in itself is so motivating and pulling that if you have to have a heart, like why not have a heroic heart, rather not to have, otherwise just don't have a heart. Like I'm just saying that. And thank you to Jasmine too, she got a copy for herself and for me too, so thank you, Jasmine. Yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. Yeah. So uh, I promised a surprise to all of you. And that surprise is that I requested Jetsunma to record us a video if she could, since we are in touch with her office. We do transcription for her talks, etc. So and she obliged. So she addressed all of us who are joining today and wished and motivated us in a few minutes of a video that she recorded for us. So that is what first I want to start with before we start with the book. So this is addressing all of us who are here, and also all of us who will be listening to it later. Many of us catch up with recordings. So all of us who are actively or passively part of this study circle, listening to it, addressing all of them is Jetsunma's yeah, wish for all of us. So let me put it. And before, don't get shocked because she mentions my name. So I told her that I will be starting this on my birthday, which is today. So she also kind of congratulates, and that will also come here. So just a second, I'll put it up. So this is addressing all of us again. How do I do full screen? Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say happy birthday, Monica, and may the coming year be filled with joy and with a sense of fulfillment, inner fulfillment for you. And thank you very much for organizing this book club to study the 37 practices of Bodhisattva in the book, The Heroic Heart. The important thing is that these verses are so practical and helpful when we think that life is difficult, other people are difficult, we don't know how to cope. To understand that if we change our attitude to whatever comes to us in life, changing our inner attitude changes our life. And so this is really very important teaching. It's not dense philosophy, it's not high meditation, it's just very, very here and now with what comes to us, how we can deal with this skillfully. Because by dealing with our life situation skillfully, things become easier. Things become more mellow, more flowing. And even though sometimes the advice is very, difficult for ordinary people like us to really carry out, it gives us the example of how we should act in these circumstances, how it would be best for ourselves and for others to respond. So please read these wonderful verses, the 37 verses of the Way of a Bodhisattva, and the commentary, especially by Dekko Khyentse Rinpoche, who is a very great Lama, and then my very simple, basic explanations, and discuss it between yourselves, go away and think about it, but especially try to put it into your life and see how everything will change. So good luck. Well, first,
Shall we watch it again, Taru? So we were so excited, Taru and myself, that we watched it twice in the morning. Could not hold the surprise. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica, and a very happy birthday. God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. So, how we start today is that I thought that before starting directly jumping onto the book, we will first maybe just go through the verses. What are these 37 verses? Because not all of us maybe knowing about these 37 verses. So let us just go through the verses before we enter into the commentary on the verses. So today I'll request one by one, if those of us who are attending today can unmute and then uh, read one verse, and then the next person, then the next person, just to get to know what these verses are. So just putting it on, give me a moment. So we will just be reading the verses here. We won't be going into the commentary. This is someone else's commentary. So anyone who would like to start, please read out the verse 1 for us.
Yeah, I'll read.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Having gained this rare ship of freedom and fortune, here think and meditate unwearingly night and day in order to free yourself and others from the ocean of cyclic existence. This is the practice of Bodhisattva.
Yeah, anyone who wants to go next? Verse 2.
I'll go next if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
Attached to your loved ones, you are stirred up like water. Hating your enemies, you burn like fire. In the darkness of confusion, you forget what to adopt and discard. Give up your homeland. This is the practice of Bodhisattva.
Thank you. They say that even we are able to practice half of a verse, that is enough for a lifetime. So don't get disheartened if they appear so difficult in the beginning. Yeah. Verse 3. Anyone who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, by avoiding bad objects, disturbing emotions gradually decrease. Without distraction, virtuous activities naturally increase. With clarity of mind, conviction in teaching arises. Cultivate seclusion. This is the practice of Bodhisattva.
Yeah, thank you. Verse 4. Anyone?
Yeah, I'll go. Loved ones who have long kept company will part. Wealth created with difficulty will be left behind. Consciousness, the guest, will leave the guest house of the body. Let go of this life. This is the practice of bodhisattvas.
Yeah. So those of us, the mind may be calculating at parallelly as we read it. So not to enter directly into that calculation, because we don't know what it truly means. That's what we will be discussing here. So we don't have to let go of this life. Please don't at this moment. So verse 5. Yeah, Sulakshana ji.
When you keep accompanying your three poisons in tree, your activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating decline, and they make you lose your love and compassion. Give up bad friends. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas.
Thank you. Verse 6, anyone? Go next. Yeah, Shreya, you go next.
All right. Yes. When you rely on them, your faults come to an end, and your good qualities grow like the waxing moon. Cherish spiritual teachers even more than your own body. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas.
Thank you. Yeah, verse 7. Taru, you want to go next?
Yeah, verse 7. Bound himself in the jail of cyclic existence, what worldly God can give you protection? Therefore, when you seek refuge, take refuge in the three jewels which will not betray you. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Thank you.
Thank you. Verse 8, anyone? Those of us who have read once, they'll have to read again. So there are 37 verses. So just go ahead and unmute and read.
I'll go next. The subduer said that all the unbearable suffering of bad rebirths is the fruit of wrongdoing. Therefore, even at the cost of your life, never do wrong. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas.
Yeah, let's keep going. Yes, yes.
Like dew on the tip of a blade of grass, pleasures of the three worlds last only a while and then vanish. Aspire to the never changing supreme state of liberation. That is the practice of Bodhisattvas.
Sorry, it's not even coming. Actually, I couldn't find, all these 37 verses without the commentary somehow. I think I'll have to look later. Yeah, verse 10. We'll just maybe take up till verse 10 just to give us an idea what this is all about, and then we will go to the introduction of the book.
Yeah, verse 10. When your mothers who have loved you since time without beginning are suffering, what use is your own happiness? Therefore, to free limitless beings, develop the altruistic intention. This is the practice of the Bodhisattvas.
Thank you. So here mothers means, because since they say in Buddhism, they say that each one of us has been our mother in our previous lives. So many lives we have lived. So referring to all the sentient beings, that each being, no matter it appears like my enemy, if any person is suffering, I cannot just go ahead with my own life and be indifferent. So that's the selflessness it asks of us. So this is just for us to share that this is what 37 verses are about. And as Jetsunma was sharing, that we have two very good commentaries. Many good commentaries are there, but two that she really recommends. First of all is not that she recommends, but she has written and given lectures on. And previously there was another Lama Rinpoche, Dilgo Khense, whose book is called The Heart of Compassion. That's also a commentary on 37 verses. And she has drawn from this commentary in her book as well. So that will also be included. So before I get to the book, I thought it will be nice to just have an opening aspiration, which I'm going to share with us all. So there is this community called Turgar community. Many teachers who are seekers who are in Buddhist tradition, they kind of follow this. So I'm just using their opening aspiration here. Maybe all of us can inwardly pray as I read it. With boundless compassion and wisdom, I will work for the welfare of all. May we be free from hunger and discord and have joy and a world at peace. So I'm sharing a few snapshots that I took maybe for today's session. So I thought why not just start from the beginning. So this is the dedication of the book. And I would request that as and when anyone intuitively feels like unmuting, because this is a study circle, we'll be reading a lot together. So just intuitively just unmute and go ahead, read it out. So anyone who feels ready.
Yeah, this book is dedicated to all those who sincerely wish to make their lives meaningful and the benefit to themselves and others. May these words of advice from a Bodhisattva, such as Tokme Sangpo, resound throughout all time and cultures and strike at our hearts, inspiring us to develop a good heart and cultivate loving awareness throughout our lives. The world is in dire need of such goodness.
Yeah, thank you. And if there are any insights on the way, we will take up reflections. So please feel free. It's your circle, it's our circle. So we'll take up reflections whenever you want. Please unmute and share. So this is the introduction which we will read now. Yeah, I would request anyone who feels intuitively that they would want to read this first page, and all of us will listen.
I can read.
Yes, please.
All experiences are preceded by mind. Have mind as their master, are created by mind. The Buddha. The quote above by the Buddha himself demonstrates that our minds and the way we use them, how we think, are central to the Buddhist path. Therefore, a method for taming or calming the mind, a way of training it out of its many negative habits, is both crucial and beneficial. Why is it so important to train and tame the mind? Why is it imperative to release the mind from its habitual patterns and uncover its true nature? Because a wild mind tends to harm others. This brings us to the true heart of Buddhism, the liberation of all sentient beings from all forms of suffering. Although we Buddhists talk about realization and enlightenment a lot, that is not our true goal. Our true goal is to free sentient beings from suffering, to free them also from delusion and ignorance of their true nature. Our own enlightenment is the best and surest way to equip us to do that. It is this cherishing of others that is the essence of Buddhism. From the simplest foundational practices to the heights of Mahamudra and Dzogchen, nothing is more important or higher than the selfless expression of boundless compassion or bodhicitta. Training and taming the mind is the way we give rise to this boundless compassion and the way we are ultimately able to express our true nature.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, anything anyone wants to share, add on? So I think through her teachings only, um, one thing which we have so far understood is that she always stresses on taming the monkey mind. So whenever we sit down to meditate, for example, looking at the breath for 2 minutes, even in those 2 minutes, we can see if we are honest, how again and again the mind jumps to the storylines in the head, things of past, things of present happenings, commentaries about other people and myself. It just can't be still. So the moment I have said, oh, hey mind, come to the breath now, let's sit for 2 minutes, it doesn't listen. I think that is what the first, then when we were exposed to her teachings, we got to know that, oh my God, something is really weird and wrong, that the mind doesn't listen. So that's what she means by taming the mind, that it's an instrument for our use, but it should know whenever the master tells, okay, now you get rest and now you are put to work, so it should listen to the master, but it doesn't listen. It has gone wild, and we see that how much harm we do to our own selves first of all, and then we spill that harm out to others when the mind is untamed. So just this simple practice of looking at the breath, I think, shows us where we are in terms of how untamed our minds are. So that's the essence of this, one of the main crucial points here in Buddhist practice, to tame the mind.
I had a question at this point. I understand this taming of the mind and its relevance, but when she writes, our own enlightenment is the best and surest way to equip us. So this enlightenment refers to taming the mind. Is that so?
Yeah, it refers to taming the mind, because the true nature of the mind is, if you hear Buddhist talks or discourses, so they say that the true nature of the mind is this witnessing awareness which looks at the thoughts, looks at the feelings. But you will see that the moment you sit in meditation, like trying to bring the mind to an awareness of breath, you will see that we can't do that right now. It doesn't come very naturally to us, because the mind is habituated to jump here and there and here and there and believe all of them to be true, whatever is going in the head. So here what enlightenment means is that when we are walking this path of taming the mind, slowly we take the stance of witnessing awareness, and then we stabilize ourselves as that open spacious awareness, which is, although I'm saying it like very simply, but it is a very long and arduous practice. That's why, in her own journey, we see that she spent like 12 years in cave to stabilize this ground. And many teachers go in seclusion to stabilize as this consciousness, because the mind cannot grasp it like we can grasp a concept. The moment we have a glimpse of us as awareness, suddenly the limited mind comes and it wants to grasp at it, like, oh, I got it, something like that. And the moment you say that, oh, I got it, we have lost it. That happens. So we get in, whenever we sit for meditation, we get glimpses of stabilizing ourselves as presence of awareness. But the moment something in us moves and says, oh, I've got it, this is it, immediately we lose it. So it's very subtle. That's why it's called the subtlemost consciousness. But the thing is that the more I am aspiring to walk this path of taming the mind, the more I become conscious of my storylines. The more I become conscious, throughout the day, see, 2 minutes, I sit with the breath and then completely lost in the story. So the more we realize ki andar kya chal raha hai, what is happening inside of being, the more it makes me more soften and mellower to interact with others. So this harm that I do to others, taking my storylines to be very solid, rigid, and believing in them, that harm, then slowly I begin to kind of retreat from that harm. Because I see that, oh, I am doing this damage because I am believing so rigidly in my thoughts. So when we develop this breathing space of a witnessing consciousness and looking at our thoughts, when this breathing space develops, then one moves towards enlightenment. So they are connected, taming the mind and enlightenment, which is a recognition of our true nature. It cannot come so easily, it comes with practice. So that's how they are, I feel, that's how connected. Anyone who wants to add on, please.
This realization which comes as a surprise when we first hear it, like, the basic stuff that I am not just the body, right? I have a body. Similarly, it feels that I am the mind, right? Like, what else is there? My thoughts, my beliefs, my feelings, like, this is what there is. And yet, this knowing that I have a mind, I am not the mind. Mother also says that, mind has to be used as a tool for reasoning. It's a tool, but I'm wearing it 24/7. So just, this again, the line that you were saying, that because a wild mind tends to harm others. And, when we think about, especially in the big picture, we would say we never want to harm anybody, right? Like, we would very strongly believe that, and we would even deny the fact that we are harming anybody. So again, the importance of this in general, that do you want to harm others? And the answer is no. Okay, then what do you do? Because we know that the wild mind harms myself a lot, of course, right? Like, it's crazy. And of course, sometimes I think the mistake that I make is that I think everything would be larger than life, right? That if I'm thinking about, say, something greedy, it will be really bad. Something lust will be really bad. I'll turn red, and how they show it in movies. But the small, small movements, why did she not look at me? Or why did she say what she said? Why did he behave that way? Those judgments, those, I don't know, ill will. I mean, those don't need to be there because we don't even know, and yet everything is created. We just keep creating those things around us which don't have a need. I mean, they're so unnecessary and they harm. So just simply just to that if one has mastery over one's mind, or even start recognizing where everything is going, right? this thing comes itself, right? That what can I do? Be one poison less, right? Like one drop of poison less. So I think that's also how kind of I see it, that if I'm working on myself, that could be enlightenment, because if we look at the word, enlightenment, so there's more light now. There is less darkness. Because in darkness, we don't know what's happening, what's leading to where, what will come out of the tunnel. But at least we are aware, and that would help us in not hurting and helping others. Yeah, thank you.
I think this also brings a lot of focus. I think all of us who are joining today, they're already on the path, and we see that how much it is important to bring the focus back to ourselves. That usually we are always trying to change others and trying to fix others, and wanting to blame others for everything. But this focus, excessive focus on others, takes us away from home. So we don't know what's happening in the home itself. So I think this was also this is very helpful to come back home to oneself, one's own mind, which is the room. And Jetsunma herself, she shares that no matter wherever we are, one thing that we are always having with us is this mind. So she says that we are not living in our homes, we are living in our minds. So shouldn't we care about our minds? What you were sharing, that to keep it really sorted, organized, simple, light. And of course, in saying it appears very easy, many a times. But we know that there are challenges on the path. We know that, all of us know that. And even to have that kind of an inspiration that yes, there will be challenges on the path, and yet I will not let the ego overpower me. I will not listen to the dictates of the ego, and I would still try to stick and ingather the mind and stick to a divine name, stick to the breath, and keep the mind home in the body. Taming the mind, monkey mind. So they say that body is the home of the mind. Thoughts are not the home of mind. That's why we feel so drained when we are lost in our thoughts, believing those storylines to be truly true. And when we want to bring the mind home, breath is one of the surest connections to bring it back home. So mindfulness of breathing comes very handy. Mindfulness of body postures. How are we sitting, in what pose we are sitting. So that connects the mind with the body, brings it back home. And that's how we slowly begin to tame the mind. So this would again, in the teachings also, this will be coming, I'm hoping, again and again, how we tame the mind, which is crux of Buddhist practice. Yeah. So keep sharing if there is anything. We'll maybe take one page more and then we can end for today. We'll see. So this is just the introductory part that we are reading. Yeah, anyone who wants to read the second page for us? Yeah, would anyone want to read the second page or share anything if there is?
Yeah, I can read. We are about to explore an important text on Lojong that provides just such a way to tame and calm the mind. The Tibetan word Lojong literally means mind training. But the practice really has more to do with training our attitude, training us out of the habitual ways that we respond to situations that happen to us, especially adverse circumstances. The idea is that we take everything onto the path, Some people think that when things are going well, we are healthy and happy, and everything is on the up and up. It is a good time to practice dharma. But when we are faced with adverse circumstances, difficult people, bad health, and so forth, then somehow our practice gets dropped or postponed. Should I pause or continue?
Yeah, whatever you feel like.
I think I'll continue. These Lojong teachings are about how to take everything, especially adverse circumstances, onto the path. How to use everything that happens to us as a means of inwardly maturing and becoming spiritually strong is the essence of Lojong practice. I sometimes compare this to visit to a gymnasium. The trainer looks at us and says, well, your arms are not bad, but your legs are very flabby. So we go to the machines and work out. The reason to work hard on these machines is to become strong. We don't resent those machines because they challenge us. If they are too easy, we find more difficult equipment. We recognize that the effort we make on these exercise machines is the reason we now have nice, strong legs. The Jong is rather like that. The 4th century bishop of Milan, Saint Ambrose, referred to the Christian book of Psalms as a gymnasium for the soul. There is also the idea that life itself is a gymnasium of the soul. Even though we don't believe in souls in Buddhism, the idea is a good one. Life is where we have our workout. This is where we train. We shouldn't avoid challenges or only work out on the easy machines.
Thank you. So all of us who have difficult situations at hand, we know what we are at. And it's amazing to see that this is the exact description that Sri Aurobindo himself uses in Savitri, that life and life's experiences are how Purusha, the consciousness, witnessing consciousness, how it gains its stature, how it grows, gymming through all experiences of life. So this gymnasium word Sri Aurobindo also uses in the same context. Yeah, anyone wants to share anything on this?
How I usually take my adverse situations, my challenges, my loss, my pain, my natural thing is that I just get lost in my story, right? Like this happened to me. First of all, I hold on to that. I'm like sitting on it, thriving on it. I share it with everybody. I feel sorry for myself. I mean, I do everything other than looking at it and seeing that what do I learn from this, right? Because somewhere, again, going into the victim mode or the guilt consciousness, which gives a lot of rust, the juice to my story. I'm just sucked into it, right? And I keep missing what I'm being shown. And that's why a lot of us keep getting thrown, how somebody was also sharing from the first page. So that is why again and again and again a wave has to come and take me down and topple me all over, because I simply refuse to see what I am being shown. So this again, is so beautifully said here. And this basic concept also, that we are here for growth. We are here for transformation, to see more, to evolve. And yet this misconception, a very strong misconception, that the aim of life is comfort, settlement, happiness. And we fight so much, right? Because, oh, I don't feel comfortable. Oh, I don't feel settled. But if we look at this, all my energy, where it's going, it has no value, right? It really has no value, because what is there is, let me learn from what is trying to show me. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's very, very clear, and not even now. We have again studied so many other circle sessions. We share again and again that, especially the adverse circumstances, they are the ones which build us up, especially. So one can be really grateful, although one may be still slithering in pain, but when one knows that this has come for some really good purpose, if one has a knowing within. Yeah. So that's the essence of this practice that we are going to read, that how to use everything that happens to us as a means of inwardly maturing and becoming spiritually strong. This is the essence of Lojong, means mind training. That's why I'm taming the mind. And if not for, like heavy weights or difficult situations, then how would I train? How would I train? And that's how we have obstacle races and all these races, where we get to know, okay, how alert I am, how flexible I am. So that's how in challenging situations specifically, we get to know how our practice is growing and maturing. And that's why I think masters like Rahim, he would say that, please give me all these difficult situations all the time, because I see that I grow and progress in such situations only, and I have a deep connect with you only, mostly in such difficult situations. I have personally seen this with myself, that whenever like a deep darkness, intense suffering has come, the kind of connection I get then with the mother or something higher, somehow in the day-to-day okay life, we don't find that connection. So as Taru was pointing at, and what Sri Aurobindo shares too, that we are here for progress. We are not here to have what Bollywood shows us, for example, to have four-walled, protected house, settlement, and our jobs and cars and everything. So it's a very wrong impression on our minds, which we have to erase. That we are not here for that. We are here to evolve, progress, and grow, and especially through difficult situations, we do that. And those of us who have gone through challenging and hard situations in life, I think all of us who are here today have gone. I think we can resonate on this aspect, that whenever really tough situations have been given or have shown up in life, I think they have been really very humbling experiences for us, grounding experience. Otherwise, how high up in the air we get, we don't even realize. So they are the ones where we connect first with our own pain, and then with the pain of so many of us who go through similar pain. When So empathy comes, compassion comes, a kind of self-giving comes. That's how we connect with each other, through pain, mostly. Yeah, anything anyone wants to add on here?
You are on mute, Monica.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. So I thought, since I was sharing that this is very much in resonance with Savitri, and it's good to just see that truth has no boundaries, it's everywhere. So just these lines of Savitri, I think they'll give us this connection that we were reading. The master of existence lurks in us and plays at hide and seek with his own force. In nature's instrument loiters secret God. The immanent lives in man as in his house. He has made the universe his pastimes field, a vast gymnasium of his works of might. All knowing, he accepts our darkened state. Divine, wears shapes of animal or man. Eternal, he ascends to fate and time. Immortal, dallies with mortality. The all-conscious ventured into ignorance. The all-blissful bore to be insensible. Incarnate in a world of strife and pain. He puts on joy and sorrow like a robe and drinks experience like a strengthening wine. He whose transcendence rules the pregnant vasts, prescient now, dwells in our subliminal depths, a luminous individual power alone. So this is the reference to this Godhead within us, which has agreed to take the robe of ignorance and forgetfulness and not knowing who we truly are for the play of it, as it is shared. He has made this universe his pastimes field. As we say in Hindi, we Leela. When we move from Maya, then it's God's Leela. And in Savitri, Sri Aurobindo shares that how the force or the Prakriti or the life experiences, they are made in charge that, okay, you are the first. Through you, I will evolve. Through you, my ripening will come. So I will be in a background. So there is an actor, a main actor, but it's in the background. And because the play is such that the Prakriti or the force or the life happenings have been given the first place. So that's how we see in our life how we learn and progress and evolve through the life happenings before becoming a conscious collaborator. That, okay, now I consciously want to walk this path. Before that, life experiences takes us towards this. So yeah, right, many resonances here. All right, so I think we can also take a pause today here, or I don't know, we can, if you agree, I can go ahead. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe it's too late for many of us, and many of us, not all of us. Yes, Nandini?
Yes.
Okay.
So tomorrow is another, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a working day, so yeah,
Yes.
it would be nice too, yeah. Because sometimes if it stretches, then you don't want to miss it also, right?
Yeah.
So you,
Yeah. No,
so
it's good to
tend
take
to,
it sip by sip and slowly.
right.
I totally
Okay.
resonate. Yeah.
Thank you. And
Thank
a
you.
very, very happy birthday, Monica.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah?
you.
Bye. Enjoy
Thank
your day.
you. Thank you. Thanks. So
Thank you.
thank you. Before we end, maybe just last one moment to maybe share the merit. So maybe just share all the merit gained from today's session with all of us, and maybe all find the greater light within us and be at peace, and always progress in life. All of us out there, here, everywhere. May all of us have peace in the heart, simple mind, and lots of progress and joy in life. Yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you, everybody. Bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Good
Thanks.
night.
Bye-bye.